Hello everyone and welcome to the second running of the Captain's Cup here at Formula Racing League. Sim racing at its very best, a very special esports sim racing contest this evening. It's the Ryder Cup of sim racing on Assetto Corsa Competizione on console, that's between PlayStation 5 and Xbox. We have a team from Europe versus a team against the rest of the world. The rest of the world team in the black and red vehicles this evening, and Team Europe sporting the blue and gold of the EU flag. On the left hand side of your screen you can see the drivers down there with all their teams next to them, and to make it even easier for everyone watching tonight, the European drivers have a white background plate to their number. You can see the three top there right now with the white 43, white 678 and white 242, and the rest of the world with the red background. We're here at sunny Brands Hatch in Kent in the south of England. Europe, having won the first Captain's Cup, were able to select the circuit for this evening. On the right hand side you'll see what we have coming up. We have a 15-minute qualifying session to determine the grid for the race, and the race will be a 100-minute, let's call it a mini endurance race for these drivers. We have 2 mandatory stops during that time. Both of those mandatory stops must take place within the middle 80 minutes of the race. In other words, you cannot use a mandatory stop in the first or last 10 minutes of the race. That will mix things up a little bit throughout the evening. We do have multiple strategies I'm sure we'll see on track. We've got some familiar favourites and some newbies racing this evening. It'll be very interesting indeed to watch how they do, but you can see there on the top right of the screen our forecast as well. Glorious, uncharacteristic English sunshine for us tonight as we navigate the undulations of this legendary, let's call it legendary circuit. What we'll do is just very quickly, while we've got practice, we'll come on board with Mr. Van der Wal. Coming round turn 1 now, very tricky corner, right-hander. It begins to get away from you, and then suddenly there's a load of grip at the bottom. Brake hard for the apex, for the hairpin. Let it run wide and take a V-line and maximise your exit speed down the hill. And this tricky left-hander, the bollard on the inside's already gone. You can run a little bit wider there. This straight that isn't a straight next sets you up for the tightening left-hander. Want to get the apex absolutely perfect. There's a lot of oversteer on exit as Van der Wal experiences there as he makes his way down the back straight now. It dips under the bridge. Now he's got a fast right-hander, the fastest corner on the circuit. As he clips the curb on the inside, he's got a red car just in front of him. Now we've got a couple of very similar right-handers. Gets around that one okay, and this one's very tricky. Almost no reference points whatsoever. Take a lot of the inside curb, caution, there's no exit curb. Second to last corner now, early turn-in means you get a good exit on the straight. Dust being kicked up from the car up ahead. One more corner to go. Blind on exit, you pin the throttle. Careful people entering the pit lane. They do approach slower, and then across the line. It's a very short lap here at Brands Hatch, and that's going to make a very competitive qualifying session as John Bonham, the Super Sprint Sunday Season 15 champion, takes currently the top position in practice, a full second ahead of Luke Prentice. Now Bonham's got an Aston Martin in front of him, and those pink wheels are unmistakably belonging to Jack Prentice. No question there. He wasn't able to bring his mint green baby to the circuit this evening. So who else do we have on track just now? Kuma Kalakis, one of the drivers who came in at the last minute as a substitute for the rest of the world team. Thank you very much for doing that. We do have 29 drivers on circuit just on the track just now in the server. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 14 rest of the world. Whatever team has the least amount of drivers showing up tonight, it will be the top that many. So if there's 14 rest of the world and 15 Europe drivers, the top 14 will score points for their respective teams. We will try and give you a provisional result on the stream this evening. However, if that fails to materialise, we'll have to announce it on all the Formula Racing League socials. So do remember to follow us on Instagram, and if you're enjoying this stream as well, do not forget to like and subscribe. So this is, as said earlier on, for those who have just joined us, the second running of the Captain's Cup, an event exclusive to Formula Racing League. It's Europe versus the rest of the world in a Ryder Cup style race, the Ryder Cup of sim racing. Every driver will be competing against themselves, but of course there is the big points tally later on at the end of the race that will determine who will take the trophy for the second running of the Captain's Cup. My name is Gogs the Captain Brown. Thank you very much for joining me in the comms box this evening. I will be here for the full qualifying and 100 minutes race. Like I said, we've got that 2 mandatory stops during the race where drivers must take fuel on board. What they do with the tyres is entirely up to them, as long as those 2 fuel stops do not occur in the first or last 10 minutes of the race. That's the only restriction they have this evening. Other than that, they will drive to the finish. The race starts 4 PM in game time, but with a ×2 multiplier, so we'll be well close to 7 o'clock with the sun coming down, temperatures coming down, and the sun beginning to get in the driver's eye line. And that will be another challenge that the drivers will have to deal with as the evening goes on. Jared Vermeulen just goes into P11 and then goes off track. Josh Clayton hasn't made it this evening. He was looking like he may have had to pull out. However, he has made it on track, and for some reason I've jumped into his car. Don't know how that one's happened, but there we go. This may happen a few times this evening with the sim Assetto Corsa being a direct port from the PC. There are some glitches that the console needs to work out. The checker flag of practice is out. Bonham, the current leader, elects not to finish that lap. However, the BMW behind him looks like it is continuing on. I don't know exactly who that is. I think that was Colpitts coming across the line. It was. Colpitts is P15. Falcon is still out there, going round the track, on board just now with the BMW driver. The rest of the world team looking very strong this evening. Look at that there, P1 John Bonham, Wouter Heymans in P3, Rielmal in 4th, Sharp in P5, and that's the end of free practice. As we're now in the qualifying, they've got a list of cars that are looking to jump out of the pits. Who's going to get out there first? It looks like it might be Heymans, potentially. Donkers, nope. It's a Team Europe car that's out there. It's car number 7. That is Jake Hanley. That is the Formula Racing League Super Sprint Sunday Season 16 AM Class champion. So, proving his worth in the lower tiers of Formula Racing League, he'll be looking to demonstrate what he can do with the fastest drivers they do have on console. We'll see what he does throughout the evening around this very, very tricky, stereotypically British track. He's got Heymans behind, almost pushing him through qualifying. Track is looking in very good condition. And we've got 30 now, so it looks like it may be 15 aside. That's great to see. Chris Gedman has managed to make it into the server. That's good to see as well. So a little bit of fun for this evening. We're currently watching Hanley out in the Australian track. Luke Richings, the captain for Team Europe. You can see him there in 4th place on the left hand side. He's got a little C next to his name. He is the team captain for Europe. Luke Richings, one of the admins here at Formula Racing League as well, looking to prove me wrong, personally prove me wrong, that the Honda is a car that anyone can drive. So we'll keep an eye on how he does this evening, of course. The vice captain for Team Europe is Chris Gedman, Mr. FRL himself. He's out there driving a BMW M6. Absolutely crazy, both of these guys trying to prove that you can do anything in any car. For the rest of the world team, the captain, somebody who's very passionate about Formula Racing League, that's Reinhard Serpentine in the 215 Ferrari. He is leading the rest of the world team out, and of course the vice captain is Rigo Campos in the Ferrari, the 24 car. Very instrumental Campos was in getting the Captain's Cup off the ground, with Captain's Cup 1 helping organise that one as well. So those guys are the captains this evening. We'll keep an eye on how they get on too. Now this is the first driver going to set a time, that is Handley. Behind we've got a couple of cars as well. Does it look like anyone's been queuing? Maybe there was a little bit of a queue earlier on, but it didn't look like it was going to interfere. It was always a worry with this being a shorter track. But now Handley is going to come round the final corner. And what time can he provisionally put on the board? It's a 1:25.6. Hyman's immediately pips it. A very quick time, 24.5. And if we keep an eye on the top left of the screen now, those times are going to plummet. Bonham is 1:23.6, a rapid time. Adam Sharp for Europe, 7/10 off that. That's very far behind just now. Vermeulen, who is one of the quickest drivers we have on track, is only P6, 2 seconds down. That demonstrates just how quick Bonham's time was. Jack Prentice in that blue and gold and pink Aston, not traditional Aston colours by any means, but what can he do just now? Puts himself on the board, goes up to P5. That's a good lap time. Richings did not set a valid lap, not surprised in that monstrosity he is driving this evening. Dan Naismith looks like he's just went out there as well. So who is coming round to set a lap? Car number 79. Look at the size of this monster, this BMW. It's like he's driving Shrek round that final corner. It's that big and ugly, but big and ugly cars sometimes are the most stable. What can Gedman do just now? He puts himself on the board, still half a second behind Kuro Mikolakis, but in that car will take about 2 seconds off that time, I think, to make it fair. And fair play, I'd like to see that in the off-season. Drivers testing different things out, testing different cars out as well. And here's one, our very own Captain America, S. Rogers, in the Aston Martin. It's not a car I'm aware he drives very often, so we'll see what he does this evening in that as well. Bonham and Vermeulen now leading the way pretty much between the two of them. 1:23.2 for both of them, with Bonham just pipping Vermeulen. We just missed that one, unfortunately, on the track. We're watching Rogers now just using, the car looks very much in control just now. Yellow flag that is showing for car number 14. 14's been off somewhere on the circuit, as has car number 7. That's Handley being off circuit somewhere. But what can Rogers do? He's been very quick this season. Second place in Taco Tuesday. The lap wasn't valid, unfortunately. Another quick driver we have, Travaglioli. He's got a BMW there of Colpitts spinning round and round and round, doing premature donuts. Travaglioli, I think I've got that name right actually. If I do have it wrong, please of course jump on, let me know. But he is looking one of the quick drivers as well. He was up there in our Taco Tuesday series. Was it Taco Tuesday? I actually can't remember if it was Taco Tuesday or Super Sprint Sunday. Either way, he showed very good pace. Where can he put the car just now? Comes round the second to last. He's got a Porsche just in front of him, but that'll be far enough ahead, it won't be causing any issues. We're about halfway through the qualifying session now. You might see some drivers duck into the pits, but what can Trivoglioli do? He goes into P3. It's a 1-2-3 for the rest of the world, with Sharp and Caruana doing everything they can. And Ferraris as well, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 6, and 8. Ferrari looking very strong here. And Caruana in the Lamborghini as well. Unfamiliar territory for the Maltese magician. And I'm sure I've seen somebody else in the Mountain Wolf car as well. I'm sure I've seen someone driving that. We'll jump onto that in a second. Luke Prentice now challenges for Europe as Bonham goes into the 22s. 22.767 for John Bonham. Man's looking extremely quick this evening. What can Caruana do? Can he improve? Not on this lap, he can't. Paul Trotman in the Mercedes. Now he is looking like he's found a ton of pace in that car. Does hold an FRL AM class license, but look at the speed he's got, and he's flashing his lights. I hope that's for the stream indeed, just to say hi. Dan Naisbitt in the Porsche, white and gold, lack of blue in the car. He's blocked the pit lane. Now that's interesting, he's blocked the pit lane there. Curious. Trotman now comes across the line. Can he improve? He doesn't on this lap. A couple of cars yet to set a valid lap time. We've got Morgan Grace driving a BMW. We've got Francis and the rest of the world in a Mustang. There he is. And we've got Gerbino, and that's... yeah, Gerbino, it looked like he was in the Mountain Wolf car, but it's not. It's just a very similar livery. That's what it is. So, 4 drivers there, still yet to set a lap time. Sharp now comes across the line. Can he improve? He doesn't, and it's going to tell you what, if anyone does able to improve, actually, to be honest, and make inroads on Vermeulen. Vermeulen's just pipped Bonham. We've missed that off camera. Vermeulen has pipped Bonham now. They're both still out there. Bonham's coming round the final turn now. Very busy looking pit lane this evening as we enter the final 6 minutes of qualifying. Bonham not able to improve on this occasion. Morgan Grace goes up into P9. We've missed that one off camera as well, but Grace has managed to get himself up into 9th now. Now keep in mind, Luke Richings was the FRL Silver Class Super Sprint Sunday champion, so he does have pace. There's no doubt about that. But what he's done is the same thing I did, as I got very confident in Silver Class, had a great season, decided that I can drive the Honda, and then found out that I couldn't. And I think Richings might be having similar thoughts just now. Has come on board. Let's see much of a handful it actually looks. What's the opposite of feathering the throttle? That's what he's doing. Saying that, it does look pretty steady in his hands just now. The back end just carrying him through that section. Misses the apex on the final turn, puts his foot down, and can he improve? He does, he finds some time. Now Sproston's yet to set a time. He's still showing the pit lane, as is Francis. So those guys have not been out yet. Now Josh Clayton had some issues earlier on today with his eyesight. He was able, looks like he's been able to get that resolved and get himself on track in the blue and gold. Good to see. One of the quickest drivers Europe has, of course, for this competition this evening. So they'll be glad to see him in the cockpit tonight. Got a lovely striking looking Ford Mustang there. Not supposed to have gold on the car, but we're going to let that one go just because it is still clearly a red and white car. That looks very nice, doesn't it? He's running well as well. He's now up into P4 as Williams. Here's Captain Wonder. Round the final corner. 3 minutes of qualifying to go now. Serpentine P14 as it stands. Of course, he has 2 very good seasons. Has our Surfy. He has got 2 AM class championships in the bag, back to back. And now he's moved up a tier this season. It's found it a little bit of a struggle, but I don't think it's on him, to be honest, such as the pace. The pace has moved this season. It's improved dramatically over the last couple of months, and it's been so difficult for anyone to get near the top with the likes of Vermeulen, Bonham, Travaglioli, Williams, Sharp, Prentice, all clogging the top end off the grid. We are missing, of course, this evening the Taco Tuesday champion Eresh, who would have been driving for Europe. That would have put an incredible show on for us with him tangling with Vermeulen and Bonham up top. Hopefully one day we'll get to see that in FRL, but not, unfortunately not tonight. Doesn't mean we're not going to get a show tonight, of course, between these two, Bonham and Vermeulen. Very good friend and rivals as well. They went faster again. Bonham's just pipped Vermeulen. He's 22.610 from the American. He's now got 2 of his teammates in front of him. With 1 minute 10 to go, will they allow their pole sitter, the current provisional pole sitter, to keep going? A couple of cars showing off track there. That's the end of their qualifying session. They won't get to go again. So now we'll begin to pick up the cars as they come round the final corner. Dan Naisbitt, the man with tired arms, been go-karting earlier on today, moves up into P13. The 444 Porsche, just behind the Kumala Caracas, still having some difficulty getting the car to grip. Caruana's just fell down the order, struggling to get a time out of that car. We've got a big queue of cars now, one of which is Sharp. He's just moved out of the way to let some of these guys pass to complete a lap. Yellow flags showing for him. I wonder if he's okay. I wonder if he's going to be able to keep going again now. Colpitt's still out there. Visser's in the pits. Gerbino's coming around to set a lap, as is the 144 car of Vermeulen. What can Vermeulen do? Vermeulen doesn't improve. He's going to get one more lap. We'll see what he does now. Gerbino can't improve either, unfortunately. It's absolute chaos and carnage. It's frantic as Williams moves into P3 and takes the checkered flag. Looking for car number 24, that is Campos, has not completed the lap, unfortunately for him. 512 of Rogers in the Aston, is not running well. That Aston, incredible shot through the leaves there. But what can he do on the run? Into the final corner, he's got Caruana just behind him in the 713. Rogers comes across the line. He's not able to improve. Caruana, can he improve? He does improve. He's up into P7. P7 for the Maltese magician. Hymans ducks into the pits. Unfortunately, car number 43 is going to be next across the line. Unfortunately, there he is, Luke Prentice in the Lamborghini. What can he do? P5, it's a good lap. But the man we all need to see, Jared Vermeulen, comes across the starting grid now, crosses the line and takes a provisional pole position. Bonham, can he beat it? He can't. So it's a pole position for Jared Vermeulen. He's parked up on track. Vermeulen will take pole. Bonham will be second and Williams third, with Travaglioli in P4. The front two rows are occupied by drivers in the rest of the world. So the race will start in a couple of minutes just now. We've got a couple of minutes while the server stabilises itself and gets things set up. I'm going to do some work to recover my camera controls as they appear to have disappeared. And we're back, there we go. So let's have a look at the qualifying order. Vermeulen is in P1 with a 1:22.5 without setting the fastest sector of anyone. That's a very interesting. We then got Bonham in second place. What a race it's going to be between those two. Under a tenth separating first and second. Williams in third. Travaglioli in P4. Luke Prentice is the lead Europe car in P5 with 17 kg of ballast as well. Good qualifying lap from him. Adam Sharp supporting him in P6. Hyman's great lap from the 717 Ferrari in P7. The Maltese Magician in P8. That's Steve Caruana. And Morgan Grace tucked in behind him. Milliseconds separating them. Hopefully it'll be more than millimetres separating those two, unlike what we've seen all season. Serpentine rounds out the top 10. Captain Marvel there in 10th place. Josh Clayton in 11th and Johnny Sharp in P12. Dan Naisbitt in P13. Rio Mal 14th. Campos 15th. Jack Prentice in P16. Falcon in 17th. Donkers 18th. Handley in P19. Trotman in P20. Van der Wal, Gerbino, Colpitts and Visser make 21st to 24th. Luke Richings in 25th in the lead Honda car. Koumakalakis in 26th. Stu Rogers 27th. German 28th. Francis 29th and Sproston did not set a lap. So that will be the grid order for the race. Now a little bit about the race this evening. It's going to be very interesting indeed. So that's us now on the grid now. We've got a couple of minutes before we get moving. So let's just very quickly talk about Formula Racing League. Now, FRL does host 3 championships in their regular season. Okay, they've got their Super Sprint Sunday format, one of the most exciting formats on sim racing on console. They've got the big one, Tackle Tuesday, the one everybody wants to win, the premium series in Formula Racing League. And then for the very first time this season, we've got the Formula Racing League Late Night Thursday World Tour. A little bit about these ones. The Super Sprint Sunday Championship starts on the 23rd of March. Sign-ups are available on thesimgrid.com. Do have a look there. Follow Formula Racing League, join the Discord and get all the sign-up details there. It is free to join, of course, and we'll be using the reverse grid format for the second sprint race in that series. It will be incredibly exciting. You do not want to miss that. Well, the Tackle Tuesday series this season moves from 60-minute races to slightly longer 70-minute races this season, really testing the drivers' tyre management skills. As the premium series and the one everybody wants to win. And then, of course, the World Tour, a 24-race calendar on Thursday nights, late night, the unique 10:30 p.m. slot. They all start on the same week, the 23rd, the 25th and the 27th of March. Sign-ups are available on thesimgrid.com. Now, of course, if you want to help support this, you take part in these championships, or even if you're just enjoying this stream tonight, you want to see more people broadcasting and commentating on these sim races, you can do so. You can help Formula Racing League out by doing things such as supporting them through Patreon for as little as £3 per month. You can get many great features, including having your own live stream broadcast to over 4,000 of Formula Racing League's Discord members whenever you go live. So check that out as well. That's Patreon for Formula Racing League. But that's not what we're here for tonight. We're here for the Captain's Cup, the second running of the Captain's Cup. It's Europe versus the rest of the world. It's in a Ryder Cup style format, the Ryder Cup of sim racing. We are ready, we have got the grid set. We've got Jared Vermeulen leading Bonham away, two of the quickest guys on console on Assetto Corsa Competizione, as they just get them moved underway for the formation lap just now. On the right hand side of your screen you'll see our schedule. We're now into the race. Ignore the two free practices, 2 and 3. We will not be taking part in those. We have 100 minutes of racing now. In these 100 minutes of racing there will be 2 mandatory stops, and the only rules for those stops are you cannot take them in the first or last 10 minutes of the race, and you must take on at least 1 litre of fuel. That's a 3-second stop minimum for these pit stops. The pits will be open out with these times, but it will not count towards the mandatory stops. As Vermeulen there just gets us round the corner. Very short lap of course here this evening. Only a couple of corners as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 corners this evening. Very short lap. 1 minute 23 we've seen in qualifying. As we're coming down the back straight now. This is the view from Caruana's point of view. He's got 7 cars ahead of him, most of them in red and white. It's been a good qualifying session for the rest of the world. Will the qualifying pace turn in to race pace? That's what remains to be seen this evening. A lot can happen between now and the next 1 hour and 40 minutes. Do not go anywhere. It's going to be a very exciting race indeed. They'll be very cautious at the start. They're going to be coming round that downhill first corner side by side, inches apart, dancing on the edge of disaster. It could get very, very messy. It's going to be a showdown for the ages. None of these drivers, I'm sure, will blink as they come round the first couple of corners now, as Vermeulen and Bonham back them up. Get everybody close together. This is when the butterflies start to build in the stomach. The tension rises. The nerves continue to grow. The heart beats in their chest as they prepare to represent their team round Brands Hatch for the second running of the Captain's Cup, as we await the green flag to get us underway.
Green light.
And we're green. We're underway here at Formula Racing League. And up front, Vermeulen's got a great start away. Travaglioli looks a little bit over Stevie coming round there just now. Everyone looks to get round relatively well round turn 1. It's a very tricky first corner. It looks like this is where it gets congested. There's 3, 4 wide coming round there. A little bit of contact. And everyone looks to get round relatively cleanly. It's been an okay start just now, but the front 4 out in front. Luke Prentice looks like he's been swarmed up. He's on the inside. There's slight contact between Heimans and Prentice, and that's going to maybe open the door for Sharp. Well, Sharp's knocked back. It's Prentice is knocked back, I think. Go the side by side. It's Caruana and Grace battling with Travaglioli round the tricky fast right-hander. And this is one of the most treacherous cars. They've got a red car dancing on the edge of disaster there. That's Campos playing a bit of WRC. Car number 63, that's Francis, has been off track as well at the back off the grid as we come round to end the first lap. Now in the final couple of corners it's very tight. Look how tight it is just back there. That's Sharp and Caruana, and now a yellow and blue Aston Martin. 2 red cars of course battling back there as well. The drivers are free to battle each other, of course. Up to them how they want to manage that during the race. The race can of course be won on the first couple of laps, it may be wise just to stay out of trouble just now as Vermeulen gets the fastest lap underway up front. He's got 8/10 of a second on Bonham, who leads Williams as those three are now drifting away. Prentice and Sharp have got himself ahead of Travaglioli. Grayson P7, Serpentine up into P8, good start from Serpentine. Sharp and Hyman's looking very close battling as well. Naisbitt in a very unique white Porsche, we'll come back to him in a second, has got himself ahead of Caruana and Jack Prentice, or rather Caruana's fell down the order. As Falcon looks to just dance over the back of Campos, just saying, look, Captain, I'm a little bit faster than you just now, please let me go and fight the guys in front. Oh, cameraman a little bit drunk there. It is of course 4 PM in game time. Plenty of time for the drivers here to have a couple of pints. The cameraman started to have a couple of pints and get underway. Drivers do not drink and drive. So they come round to complete the second lap. Yellow flags, car number 37's off track. Who's car number 37? That's a blue car, they're facing the wrong way. Who is that? Oh no, that's Adam Sharp. Adam Sharp's falling down the order. What's happened to him? There's damage on the front of that car. There's been contact for sure. But he's now fell to the back off the grid. I wonder if the stewards might hear something about that. As the field in the top 10 begins to spread out, and it is now Dan Naisbitt making a charge on the inside. Taking to the apex, rubbing over the top of it. Great exit, and he's got himself ahead of Sharp now. Next up to make that move, or try and make that move. It looks like a lot of dust being kicked up there. We've got Clayton on the back of Serpentine here. The South African is under severe pressure now. He missed the apex there. Clayton all over the back of it. Thinks better off it, does the Aston driver. Doesn't dive it down the inside just now. It looks like that one's maybe cooled off just a little bit. But there is definitely action further back. Two Team Europe drivers, Hanley and Kopitz now, side by side into turn 1. Hanley lets him go through at least temporarily. This is where the Team Europe drivers, they can see they don't have the pace, they maybe don't quite have the raw speed to match the likes of Vermeulen and Bonham out front. And they need to think here, how can we collect the most points on the grid? But it's not just first place that gets the points, every position is worth a point here today. So first place will net 40 points for the team, but it looks like Hanley has got himself alongside Visser. Visser on the outside line, they're side by side. And there goes the Honda now. Does the Honda think about it? And he needs to be very cautious. Now these three Team Europe drivers really not giving each other much space. Not a lot of track to work with. Again, you don't want to be taking each other out. There's a red car on the inside of the apex. That's car number 10. Who's car number 10? That is Falcon. Falcon's been off track there. He's got a blue Ferrari up the inside, the 269 car. That Porsche is dancing on the gravel at the back. Kourmakalakis having some difficulties there. Rogers in amongst it there. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Team Europe drivers having themselves a right good old fashioned battle. And Caruana looks like he's got a little bit of a train behind him now. I think he's just overtaken Sharp actually. Sharp looks like he's got heavy damage. and veers to the inside, blocks Jack Prentice. Now I think he was actually looking to intimidate Caruana there, but instead he's put himself almost taking off Jack Prentice's front bumper. As these four are now battling very hard for what is only going to be P11 on this track. Now if you've just joined us, this is the Captain's Cup. This is Europe versus the rest of the world. Europe in the blue, the rest of the world in the red. Car number 71 is showing his yellow flags off circuit. That is Van der Waal heading off. He's just clipped the grass, unfortunately, and that sent him into a little bit of a spin as they've got a hard pushing Ferrari there coming down the exit of turn 1. As we've just moved, now this is the battle for P4. This is the lead Europe car. This is Luke Prentice. He's known for his very strong defending, but will it be enough to defend from Travaglioli? We'll find out, I'm sure, in a couple of minutes. But it looks like the Ferrari driver does have the pace, at least at this stage of the race. We've got two guys going through the pits. They've obviously felt that the car is in no condition to continue, so they'll have to free stop this evening. And this is where you'll start to see maybe some cars from blue flags, some very spicy looking action indeed beginning to unfold. Looking back a little bit down the grid, we've still got a car spinning up ahead. That's Dan Naisbitt. Dan Naisbitt's clipped the grass in the same place Van der Waal did the lap before, and that's just sent him round and around. He's now behind Donkers, it looks like. So all that hard work we've seen at the start for him being put completely in the bin, and he's now got to navigate himself back through the field. And he'll be disappointed with that one. So, looking a little bit tasty here. Now what's this? What's going on here? That's a blue McLaren. That's Van der Waal, I think. Letting Clayton past cleanly. And behind him now, he's got Serpentine. And then Hymans. And Hymans chasing down Clayton. Potentially a little bit of teamwork going on there between Team Europe. Potentially the case. But up front we've got Travaglioli still looking for a way to get past Luke Prentice. The both of those guys all the way to the edge off the white line. We've seen two drivers spin there already. Need to be very cautious with that one. We've got a long race to Dan Naisbitt's done it again. He's pushed it, he's saved it somehow. He's ended up keeping it pointing in the right direction.
The pit is now open.
And the pit window is now open. Who will take the opportunity to duck into the pit? Dan Naisbitt's going to go for it. He's going to try and pit early, get himself some clean air. He does get the car slowed down in time, thankfully. So we'll see where he comes out, but he's going to get some clean air, maybe some fresh tyres after the spin. Follow up and see how far she goes. So this is Luke Richards currently fighting away a battle on his own. And Travaglioli just clips on the grass on the way in, tries to give it the little Scandinavian flick on the way into the corner. That's going to cost him time. It is Morgan Grace behind him. Grace's eyes will have just lit up by seeing that red Ferrari become a lot bigger through his windshield. You just see Grace having to get out of the throttle there. Excuse me while I interrupt myself just now, because Donkers and Campos look to be battling so hard on the same team. Dan Naisbitt has came out behind Handley in the number 7 car. Both those guys been through the pits this evening. The difference being Naisbitt, the first one to take a mandatory stop. Got himself the clean air. Will he have the concentration to see that one through to the end? Time will tell. So this is Serpentine. He's sort of leading the sort of second pack of cars just now. Everyone seems to have spread out a little bit at the front, and then from him back. It's a lot tighter. The field is a lot more compressed. Love this section of track. It's like a roller coaster. You're up and down, constantly turning. And you've got the banking here. There's a shot through the trees. So Serpentine, the captain here, has now got himself a dilemma, because he is chasing down Clayton ahead, or trying to. But he's holding up his teammate, Heymans. Does he let Heymans go to attempt to let Heymans chase down Clayton? Got another car jumping into the pits now. That's the number 10 car of Falcon. So Falcon, the first rest of the world car, the first red car to take his mandatory stop this evening. They're side by side now. Does I know these two are good friends off track as well. Will Serpentine allow him to go? He holds the outside. Now if they take each other, there's going to be an issue, and Serpentine spun. Oh, the back end just would not hold. Serpentine's in the wall, and the steering looks to be damaged as well. Look at the steering wheel, and there's another car off track. That's a McLaren, a Europe McLaren. That's Colpitts now just behind. The McLaren's still off the circuit. Please try and get back on the track. I don't know who that is. It's a blue McLaren. It's a Van der Waal. I think it might have been Van der Waal. Doing his best. Stay out of the wall. We've got another spinning car. That's Trotman. Trotman in the Mercedes spins. Again, it's that same corner, the third to last corner, the one that doesn't have an exit curb. We alluded to that very briefly in qualifying, but one person who's benefited from all of that carnage is Campos. He's got a little bit of breathing room now. So up front then, Vermeulen still leads. We're jumping on board with him just now, and we'll just watch what he can do in that Ferrari. This is the final corner here. He's got so much confidence. He's all the way to almost the gravel on the exit, and look how close he is to the grass in turn one. He tells the car what to do, and the car does it. He's got so much confidence, not only in the car, but his own ability as well. So this is Sharp, Jay Sharp, racing for the rest of the World team. He is tucked in behind Caruana in the Lamborghini. These two have been pretty much following each other through the field as Caruana and Sharp both look to recover to the strong qualifying pace that we've seen earlier on. You see a lot of people using that exit curbing on the exit of turn 3. A really nasty bump on the exit of the corner that Sharps just came out of there. It's so easy just to unsettle the car, have the rear end bounce around the place and send you sideways. As Sharp sensibly gets out of the throttle as he's on the grass. Let's see if he can regain some composure. He does look like he has. So this is the exit curve we're talking about. This is the corner that's catching everyone out. There's no exit curb in there. There's a tiny little bit of AstroTurf. If you clip that, you're getting sent around. As my son has most recently told me, he's been sent to the chippy. That is a new bit of youth slang, being sent to the chippy. So we'll try and incorporate that one in a couple of times, I think, this evening as well. Sharp and Caruana look to have the edge on Jack Prentice and Rio Mal behind. Prentice, a little bit of the Prentice train showing up again as Prentice moves to squeeze. Now that was, oh, I don't know about that, guys. Oh, what the, oh. Another move here as well, and we've got, yes, it's a Honda making an overtake. Or is it a Honda defending? We don't know, but it's against Hymans, which means Hymans has had a problem as well. Hymans in Serpentine falling down the grid, and that's allowed a Honda to make an overtake. It's like the end of the world. The apocalypse is coming, guys. A Honda has done something positive. Incredible. As Gerbino almost bounces off the curb, and that looks like a McLaren getting very sideways behind there. As Van der Waals not having the best time tonight. I think it was Van der Waal anyway. A lot of action going on, a lot of little gaggles of cars now, all close together, and Vermeulen, it looks like, has now just begun to lap some drivers. This is insane. It's 20 minutes into the race. Such is the pace of Jared Vermeulen. He's lapping now. These guys, of course, have been through the pits already. And yes, if you pit early, you will get some clean air. But what happens is you do begin to have to deal with these blue flags. Now, just a quick recap on the blue flag rules in Formula Racing League. Like Formula 1, if you're being blue flagged due to a car coming to lap you, you must let that driver past. Unlike Formula 1, you'd have a full lap to do so. If at any point the car behind is 0.3 seconds or less, you must let the car past on that same straight. As Dan Naisbitt has expertly demonstrated there, actually, on the start-finish straight, letting Vermeulen go through, and no shame in being lapped by Jared, of course, such as his incredible speed. So we've seen Jack Prentice out defending aggressively earlier on from, I think it was Campos potentially. And yeah, got a little bit of a spin. It might have been Real Mal, not too sure. But I'm sure we'll not see the end of that one. Apprentice, now this is a slow moving white Ferrari. Is it Handley? Who's that? A car 444 off circuit. That's Kuma Kalakis. And maybe contact there, I think, with Trotman, as they both look like they've maybe been caught out again by that corner. And again the squeeze from the Team Europe drivers defending hard into that hairpin at the top of the hill. A turn 2 hairpin. Now, that one looked like room was left at a time. We'll wait, of course, to see all the views. We don't have all the footage, of course, and we don't know what the driver's seen in the circuit as well. And that Honda now beginning to look like a handful as Richard experiences what the Honda does. That car's tyres will be more overcooked than a cheap steak. And they'll get, to be fair, they're giving each other the room. Look at the view from behind that Honda as the Ferrari nearly nudges them round there. The helicopter picks up this 4-car battle now. We've got Honda, Ferrari, McLaren. As Richardson's really been either pushing or being pushed by that car to its very limits. Yeah, to be fair to him, he absolutely nails the apex into turn 1 there. And it's into turn 2 where it looks like the Ferrari is looking very strong. A very, of course, unique choice of racing line, the Rallycross circuit being used there by Heymans in the background in an attempt to close the gap. Now he's got a good exit on this lap, has Heymans. He is closing, he's got his last two out, he's wrapped it round the rear wing off that Honda and he's pulling him himself closer and closer. He's pulling him in so close. In a minute he'll be picking him up over his head and delivering a Batista bomb through turn 9. Not yet, of course. This is the corner, the one that catches everyone now, and look at that change, he's so close. We've got a slow car, somebody spun up ahead. Who is that? Is it Campos? It is! The vice captain of the rest of the World Team, Campos, is stranded. Tries to rejoin now, he's got a BMW in front of him. No! He runs in front of Chris Gedman. Luckily, no contact. The BMW driver taking excellent avoiding action there. As Gedman running P22 just now in what must be a relic of a car. That car belongs in a museum, not round Brands Hatch. All 30 cars remain on circuit. Serpentine showing in the pits. He's just taken his first pit stop of the evening. Handley has taken a pit stop. Falcon and Naisbitt. Naisbitt just the leader of those guys just now. Serpentine is rejoined the race. He's at the back of the grid. Maybe he's had some issues. Komikalakis now in the pits as well. Now here's an interesting one. Travaglioli has found the pace and he's caught back up to Luke Richings. Sorry, that's not Luke Richings, that's Luke Prentice. That's the other Luke. Hey look, it's Luke. That was terrible. Sorry, I will not make that pun again. That was horrendous. So, quick recap then when we've got a small window of opportunity. Jared Vermeulen leads with the fastest lap in first. Bonham in second. Excuse me as I interrupt myself, is it Aston Martin? I think laps car number 10. Yes it is. My apologies, did not mean to interrupt myself there. Vermeulen leads Bonham by 7 seconds as Bonham's coming up to lap. I think it looks like Dan Naisbitt just now, with Williams in third. Luke Prentice fourth, just holding on from Travaglioli in P5 as they come round now to this tricky right-hander. Need to make sure you don't clip the grass as Travaglioli nearly does it. He nearly pushes Prentice round the second to last corner. Now Prentice will think about defending. He does. He takes the middle of the track expertly. Very good defending from the Lamborghini driver. He's still on the middle of the track. Gets himself back to the inside. This is great stuff. As Travaglioli goes for the racing line. Prentice on the inside. And it's late braking from the Ferrari driver. Prentice has got the racing line, however, and the apex. Will he defend turn 2? This has been a very popular overtaking opportunity. If Prentice goes deep, he'll take the V line, and this is allowing Josh Clayton now into the mix. We did have a couple of seconds to give you a recap. We've not been able to utilise that in time, unfortunately, as I've had to interrupt myself, but this is the exciting stuff. The battles that we wanted to see this evening between Europe and the USA. You can cut the tension here with a cricket stump. Car number 24 has been off track as well. That's Campos again. He's been caught out at the second to last corner. He's struggling now. That Ferrari will have cooked its tyres. they'll be completely bald. As again they come round that tricky right-hander, and again they're both pushing it to the very limits. Such a close battle between these two. This is the battle for P4. Prentice is the lead Team Europe car as well. We've got Williams, I think, jumping into the pit lane there just ahead of us. Car number 24, it's not Williams, but we'll come back to that, who that is in a second. As again, Travaglioli goes to the outside of the track. That's Campos into the pits, as he goes to clear his first mandatory stop off the evening. But Prentice finds himself defending once again from the ever attacking Travaglioli. He looks very menacing, doesn't he? He's got the pace. He really does have the pace. Prentice just needs to put the car in all the right places, and he has done, at least so far. He's got the apex again, and the oversteer from the Ferrari showing, and again it's just going to push him back into Clayton, and Team Europe will be loving this. Chris Gedman and Luke Richings will be rubbing their hands, thrilled with the prospect of another Europe car in the top 5. Again, it's Luke from Travaglioli now looking forward. The man with the best seat in the house, of course, is Josh Clayton. He's going to be watching this unfold, and that engine note on the Aston Martin is absolutely stunning. It looked like Clayton was maybe looking for a move there. He's not went for it, thankfully. Still fighting very hard indeed. 246 has been off circuit at turn 3. That's Paul Trotman, and he's jumped to the pit lane. No! Paul Trotman must have been in the wall at some point, unfortunately for him. And this battle's tension is palpable, that is absolutely certain. It looks like Vermeulen has just got himself past Sproston now. Sproston started from the pit lane, now running in P19. It's a good start actually from Sproston. He's kept his nose clean, out of trouble, and he's lapping well. This is the battle for P4. These three battling hard, and oversteer from Clayton. Clayton's found himself drifting wide at the corner, which has caught almost everybody out this evening. It's been very tight between these two, and it continues to be tight. Another close situation we've got back there just now. What's going on here? There's 3 cars fighting. Is this for the race? What's happened there? I think Prentice is lapping Kourmakalakis and Handley, and he's just almost been caught out, and nearly contact between these two, but this time there's contact, a little bit of a nudge onto the rear bumper of Prentice, and another one. Rubbing is racing, but it's getting a little bit dicey for my liking, and again it's brought Clayton back into the mix. Now that one looked aggressive, it looks spicy, and it's everything we want to see here at Formula Racing League. It's hard racing, but most of all it's clean. Nobody's trying to take each other out. It's all fair and above board so far. Sim racing at its very best. Temperature dropped a little bit since the start of the race. We've only been racing for 30 minutes out of the 100, and it is... Oh, it's Prentice on the grass. He's definitely dicing with disaster on the exit there. Of course, there's no exit curb. You need to be so precise around that section. A couple of cars showing in the pits just now. It looks like Trotman and Campos might have had enough tonight. They're showing us in the pits and not came out a couple of laps down, so that's 2 places unfortunately been lost. As Prentice has missed the apex there, he's lucky, he's got himself a good drive at the corner. It looks like a close battle behind, but it's not. It's actually some cars being lapped, unfortunately. But they're still going, and just because you're being lapped doesn't mean you're out. Of course, cars can make an early pit stop and look like they're further behind than they actually are. They might come back into it as the race progresses. This is the closest battle we have on track just now. Track temperature dropping once again. So that may be a new issue. We might see some people's pace change about as car number 79 has just came into the pit stop. That is Chris Gedman in the BMW. He has decided that BMW is too fat and needs new tyres. Car 24 also in the pit lane. That's Campos still showing the pits. Trotman has rejoined, it looks like. Now this is interesting because Clayton is now looking interested in these two. Oh, and the V racing line taken by Luke Prentice is making him maybe a little bit vulnerable going around turn 2. These three are definitely putting on a good show for us. As a good exit from the Aston Martin car off Clayton. Now that Aston we know has got some grunt. He pulls to the inside. He's on the fastest corner on the circuit. Not a usual overtaking opportunity unless you're alongside on the way in there already. He does think better of it and backs out and lives to fight another day. And that other day might come very soon. Again, this is where we need to be very cautious. Both of those drivers on the edge, both dipping a wheel into the grass, giving them, easy for me to say, giving their tyre a facelift of makeup of mud on the side of the circuit. But both surviving to tell the tale, and now that it's unfortunately hindered both of their pace a little bit, and that's allowed a small amount of respite for the Lamborghini of Prentice just ahead. You can see cars now just beginning to struggle with the tyres. As we're watching now, Jared Vermeulen coming to lap the captain of Team Europe, Luke Richings. Now a very interesting race, one of Super Sprint Sunday. Actually seen Richings beat Vermeulen in a very stormy Misano, and that's a complete twist of fate there, as Vermeulen has went on to reclaim his place at the head of the table as Chris Gedman's rejoined from the pit lane just ahead of Trotman, not for position of course. And Gedman 9 seconds behind Koumougalakis is currently showing. So a lot of drivers have made their pit stops now. Very interesting to see. We've got Caruana behind Falcon and just ahead of Handley. Handley's run very well actually just now. Donkers as well running very well. Dan Naisbitt done a full pit stop as well, running P18. Trivoglioli still managed to get himself now on the back of Prentice. But again, nothing to Prentice has run wide, and that's opened the door for the Ferrari man. They're running side by side now. They come into turn 3. Prentice got the inside line. He tries to hang around the outside. He might have been pushed wide there. And now Clayton moves to the inside. Just the car's width being left. Clayton's got big heavy under Stevie Aston, but does manage to keep it out of the back of the Ferrari. Nothing doing there, and Prentice almost manufacturing that move to give himself a rear gunner. But nothing doing, at least on this lap. And Caruana looks very racy behind Falcon as well. He's just behind these guys on track. Not quite in position, but definitely on track. As he gets very close, as the BMW kicks up the dust after running a little bit wide. Caruana now side by side through, and they're coming approaching the very tricky corner, and the BMW will surely have to yield. You cannot run around the outside too wide there, but Caruana's carried too much speed. He's going to have to get defensive into the second to last. He takes the middle off the circuit and keeps the position for now, and that's a very exciting phase of the race. And Trivoglioli's been off track, and Prentice has continued. What's happened there? Now, I don't mean to point the finger. The camera looked away for 2 seconds and something happened. That is one of the hardest things to do as a commentator, to make sure you capture all this. But whatever happened, Trivoglioli was off track and chose that moment to minimise that impact and jump into the pits. This is interesting. Paul Trotman has rejoined the circuit from the pit lane. Very interesting. Now, Vermeulen has elected to continue on, as has Bonham. So first and second have yet to stop. Now, what does Williams elect to do here? Think about the undercut? No, he doesn't. We're not even a third of the way into the race, remember. And some drivers have elected for that opportunity. So 1, 2 and 3 are rest of the world. They've got 4 and 5 and 6 for Team Europe. And then Sharp and rest of the world. And then we've got a gaggle of Team Europe cars. 1, 2, 3. As Prentice now dives into the pits, Trivoglioli, he's fully aware of Trivoglioli's pit stop and doesn't want to make sure he does not get the undercut. It's almost a full lap here actually to make that undercut work. A full lap on the track anyway in terms of track position. Colpitts and Gerbino. That's a Ferrari actually, so it's not Gerbino. I don't know who that is. That's Hanley. Hanley's a lap down, so Colpitts a lap ahead of Hanley. Hanley has pitted. Colpitts, of course, one of the uniquely placed drivers this evening, as Prentice jumps out, I think, just ahead of this group of cars. So how big an impact was that for Trivoglioli? He's well down the order. He's behind Dan Naisbitt. Dan Naisbitt's found himself ahead of one of the leaders, but either Trivoglioli had a massive impact, or Naisbitt's been absolutely flying around this circuit without us knowing. But Luke Prentice is the net leader in terms of who's pitted and who hasn't. He bounces over the curb. Now I wonder if that's been a fuel stop only and he's not taking tyres. And he's saving his tyres to a little bit later on in the race. So up front then, we've maybe now finally got a little bit of time as car number 5, Clayton, jumps into the pits. So now we'll see where Luke Prentice rejoins us. He is maybe been held by traffic a little bit, or he's been ahead of Colpitts, not too sure. Colpitts is one of the uniquely placed drivers who's not had to change his livery for this evening. That is pretty much the car he drives in the regular season. Bit of convenience for him. Now Clayton is in the pits a bit longer, so I suspect Luke Prentice has got himself a pit stop out of the way by only taking fuel on board. So that's interesting. Maybe he's taking fuel and then he'll take tyres at the next stop. Clayton just moves off now. He's going to rejoin ahead of car number 55 and 77. Ahead of Dan Naisbitt maybe he's going to rejoin. Yep, I think that's going to be the case. So in terms of race position, he's ahead of Dan Naisbitt. And we've seen Sharp off track earlier on. He's now battled his way back through the field. That Ferrari still looking very damaged. He's got himself a Honda to cope with in his rearview mirror. come on board with the Honda off Luke Ritching to see what he's dealing with. Big chunk of opposite block corrects the car. Definitely not the easiest machine to pilot. But he's doing a solid job to his credit so far. I think here we've just seen Francis and Riomao. As Francis goes wide and nearly collects his teammate. Let's call them stable mates, Andrew, probably a bit more accurate with the horses, the rampant horses in that Mustang. And that's allowed Riomao through and allows him to go on after Koumougalakis. So if the race were to finish right now, this might actually be quite even. So like I said, it's 1 point per position. So first place takes 40, then second 39, third 38, then 37, 36 and so on, all the way around to 40th being 1 point. Now we've only got 30 turned up tonight. There's 5 people unfortunately not able to make it, so last place is going to be for 10 points. Imagine getting 10 points for finishing last, or 11 for finishing second last in any championship. That's how every single position is so important in this race, because it can really be the difference between your team winning or losing. Now this looks a lot closer than it looks, because obviously the top positions are filled by the rest of the world, but then there's a big chunk in the midfield, the top of the midfield of Team Europe. A couple of drivers yet to pit, of course, and then some rest of the world drivers a little bit further as you go down as well. So this one's too close to call at this stage, and we still have 55 minutes or so of racing to go here at Brands Hatch. The weather, I must admit, has been absolutely incredible. Not a hint of rain or overcast conditions. As we're currently watching, this is Riomao of the rest of the world team, lapping, it looks like very quickly. Drivers now beginning, of course, to get into a rhythm. And that will see the lap times begin to stumble, the mistakes slowly be eked out. So this is a very interesting situation indeed. So of all the people who have pitted, we've got Luke Prentice who's pitted, running P7, Clayton in 12th. They two were side by side on the way in, so I suspect that Luke Prentice has only taken fuel on board. We then have Donkers. He looks to be running a little bit of a race on his own, but he does have Dan Naisbitt bearing down on his rear, as is Travoglioli on him. So we'll see if Naisbitt can defend anyone near as hard as Prentice. He can't. Travoglioli is already down the inside and gone into turn 2. Naisbitt, no interest in fighting that one too hard. Of course, he's running his own race. He pitted very early. The first available opportunity for those new, lovely, fresh, shiny set of rubber tyres. So he'll just be trying to navigate his own race and see where he ends up this evening. Could work out very well for him, actually. Very quick driver when given the opportunity. Silver tier champion, of course, in Taco Tuesday, I think 2 times over, which he done in a Ferrari 488, which is almost unheard of against the likes of the new Ferrari, the new Mercedes, the new Lamborghini as well. So credit given where credit is due, absolutely. Vermeulen's in the pits, and Bonham has taken the lead, so Vermeulen now has decided enough is enough, and it's time for a change, and that change is a change of tyres, potentially. As Ritchings jumps himself into the pits, the question is, will he get out of the Honda and leave it there? That is indeed the question. So Hyman's all over the back of Caruana now. Tight fight between these two. Now Van der Waal is the first driver to complete all of his pit stops this evening. Van der Waal does not need to enter the pit lane again. And if he can put the fuel in the car, put a new set of tyres on, he can run that one to the end. As Caruana is struggling with the Lamborghini, no one could not buy an apex for him around there on that lap, but he's been pushed almost forward into turn 4, but Hyman thinks better of it on this occasion. He'll be looking to get a better exit. That Lamborghini's back end swinging about like a fish out of water. It's looking slow and almost contact, runs into the back of him, almost. Takes the racing line, he'll have a much better exit, but not really an overtaking opportunity through here. Hyman's applies the pressure, oversteer from Caruana, who manages to keep it under control, but unfortunately has lost a position to what looks like the faster lapping Hyman's, at least at this stage of the race. Hyman looks like he had a bit of an issue as Serpentine, but Serpentine does not seem to have been able to recover from that issue. And Hyman's has, so Hyman's moves up a position. On the circuit, at least just now. So what have we got looking at here? This is Sharp, showing us 0.8 behind Clayton, and it's a Mustang. That's Williams coming through to put a lap actually on Sharp just now. Sharp, you can see the front of that Ferrari has taken a big bite out of a wall somewhere. 2 cars up ahead, kicking up the dust. That's Clayton, and I think Gerbinio's now jumped into the pits. That's the other Mustang in the field we've seen. So this is for position, I think. Yeah, no it's not. So this is for blue flags. See the blue flags out there. And Gerbinio's showing in the pits. There he is in the Lamborghini. I don't know how long he's going to be in there for. He's been joined by car 79 Chris Gedman, who I think are going to take tyres and go to the end. So Grace currently in P4, so Vermeulen has got himself back out in P3. He's tucked in behind Stu Rogers, who has the opportunity to do a job for Team Europe here.
We are halfway through, keep pushing.
As Italian Jeff lets us now know we are halfway through the race, as Rogers does show some great sportsmanship and allows Vermeulen to go around on the racing line. As he just jumped to Koumarakis, having a major issue as he comes around the corner of death, the deadly corner of doom. Car number 7, that's Handley as well. Now, oh, he's in the pit lane, he's jumped to the pits. Jake Handley in the pits for Team Europe. What's happened there? Bonham is in the pits as well. We see Bonham there, and the 251 or 215 about to come around. That's Serpentine. The Serpentine potentially causing an issue for the guys leaving the pits. He doesn't. He's got round relatively okay on this occasion. Bonham's still in there. Does Bonham have a problem? No, he doesn't. I do think he's going to get himself out in some clean air, thankfully. Car 94, that's Colpitts. Colpitts has got himself a 30-second stop-go penalty. He's been speeding in the pit lane as Mr. Colpitts in the BMW, and he's going to have to go through the pit lane at a lovely slow speed. One more time, Caruana's lost the rear going through turn 1 as well, and that's allowed Jack Prentice, Trotman and Gerbino to go past. So Gerbino for position there, and that's not what Caruana would have wanted, or Team Europe actually would have wanted, coming out of that corner. But this is what I'm saying, we're only halfway, so much more of this to go, so many more mistakes could happen of course, as Williams is in the pit, and that's going to allow eventually Jared Vermeulen to retake the lead of the Captain's Cup. And I have to take a quick second just to recover, I think, as my breath is almost gone already. I've got to do this basically all over again. Let's see a little bit further down the field then. We've got Rogers, who is a rolling roadblock in the Aston Martin, who's nearly collected by Hymans on the back. As Hymans moves out of the way for a very fast lapping car. Who is that? That's the green rimmed car of... I'm not too sure who that one is actually, to be honest. Blue flag, sure it's Bonham. So Rogers caught by Bonham as well really quickly, so that one is very interesting. But Rogers is travelling, looks like he's struggling a little bit, to be honest. Hymans thinks about a move up the inside, that's not a normal overtaking opportunity there. Hymans desperate to get past, it looks like. He's really on a good recovery drive. It looks like Rogers is struggling with the Aston Martin. And Hymans is not letting this one go. He's working harder than a fat lad's arteries. Neither driver blinking, to be honest, at this point in time. It looks like the move now might be made as they go closer, side-by-side contact. Well, that one's very interesting. It looked like Hymans had the space, Rogers turned in anyway. I think Rogers is actually just running his own race just now, to be honest. He's not pitted yet. Is he going to try and go long and then try and do some two very quick pit stops towards the end? Is that his plan? Time will tell if the plan does work. But we've got a very... It's not slow moving, sorry, that is indeed Luke Richings in the Honda in the pits. What's this? Did he stall? Looks like he stalled there leaving the pit box. The Honda does have a tendency to do that. Now he's rejoining, he's got a Ferrari just drifting around the outside of him, but that is Luke Richings, the furthest forward driver to complete all of his stops now. Luke Richings will be looking to see if he can still prove that you've just caught up with us. This is the Captain's Cup if you've just joined us. This is Europe versus the USA. Europe in the blue, sorry, not USA, my apologies. There is only one driver from the USA that I can see just now, that is John Bonham, who is currently in P2. It's Europe versus the rest of the world. Jared Vermeulen leading the way, the South African leading Bonham. Jack Prentice currently in P3, good showing from Jack. He's not yet pitted, of course. And behind him is his brother Luke Prentice, who is again doing a job. He's got himself ahead of Williams in the pit stop, so that's a very interesting development there. So Jack and Luke, the brothers, running third and fourth for Team Europe. Williams in P5 for the rest of the world. Clayton in 6th. Chavoglioli in P7. Sharp up into 8th, yet to stop as well. Donkers in 9th. Naisbitt running in 10th after his early stop to get some clean air running well. Morgan Grace in 11th, Welsh 10th and 11th place. Sharp in 12th, Hymans 13th, Rogers 14th, Gerbino 15th, Caruana 16th, Visser, Railmile, Colpitts, Sproston. Captain of the rest of the world team, Serpentine 21st, captain of Europe team 22nd. That'll be an interesting battle in a couple of minutes, I'm sure. Falcon 23rd, Gedman 24th, Francis 25th, Kuma Kalakis 26th, Van der Waal 27th. Then we have Trotman, Hanley and Campos, the vice captain for the rest of the world. Unfortunately thrown in the towel this evening as Jack Prentice finally takes his pit stop. And again, Luke Prentice doing his best to try and push back against the rest of the world team. So let's see what battles do we have on track just now. We did point one out earlier on. Serpentine looks to be letting drivers past under the blue flag conditions as he's now got a very angry Honda livery, Honda decorated in a Fallout livery. It looks like the yellow and blue, very similar to a Vault 101 jumpsuit. As the Honda struggles to find an apex, and he's let Falcon go. It looks like he's not at a car coming through. That's Bonham coming through to lap actually. So he lets Bonham through without issue. Honda, its one strength is it's so good on the brakes, and look, nearly experiencing that to its full effect, driving into the back of Bonham. Potentially probably had the opportunity to do one of the funniest things for Team Europe there, but elected not to do it. Very fair driving indeed from the captain, and look how much Prentice is having to slow that Lamborghini early. Does he go defensive? He doesn't go defensive, but he does take that. He likes that V line into the hairpin, and it looks like he's not going to defend now. Car number 88, that's Too Fat Ladies 88, is off track at the deadly corner of death, and he's thrown it in the pits. I'm afraid that might be him for this evening. And the leaders are now having to come through this very tight gaggle of cars. Vermeulen's just passed them just now. They're all battling very hard. That's from 14th, that's Grace, all the way back. Donker's now going to come in to take his final pit stop off this evening. It'll be interesting to see where he comes out in relation to Dan Naisbitt. And a little bit of lag between the two drivers there as the Mustang has to get out of the throttle as he's on the grass. Now the next stop Prentice takes is going to have to be for tyres. And Prentice has managed to navigate himself through a lot of camera time this evening by getting himself in these situations. So we'll keep an eye on these two just now. Then we'll have a jump to Serpentine, who's defending hard from Richings just now as well. Again, does he think about it into the hairpin? Not on this occasion. Not this time. So up ahead, we've got a car going off. Who is that? That's the 512 of Stu Rogers. Oh! Who is that? That's, again, Stu Rogers not having the good time just now. Big fright there. That Aston is now complete toast. He'll have to find his way into the pits. He's having to turn the car almost full. Look at that, he's turning straight to take the right hander. Hopefully he gets the car slowed down. I think he did get it slowed down enough there. Look at the damage on. Oh dear, that's been a big smash for Rogers, but he's managed to navigate it back to the pits. It's not over yet. Williams nearly bins it on the curb of the second to last corner. Hands at the wheel, working hard. And 713. That's Caruana's been caught out. at the deadly corner of doom, as well as Clayton goes to put a lap on the Lamborghini driver. I think that is Clayton in the Aston. Does Caruana dive into the pits now? Yes, he does. So the Team Europe drivers beginning to fall. Unfortunately, they're playing a long strategy, not playing to their favour just now, as the rest of the world, the red drivers, creep up the board on the left hand side. It's a vicious game of snakes and ladders, as Jack Prentice has just allowed Vermeulen past. As Vermeulen, the race leader, starts his 45th lap. Currently holds the fastest lap off the race. That's worth 1 point as well. That should be noted. You do get an extra point for that. As Sharp is just closed up now to the rear of Chris Gedman. Of course, Gedman has taken all of his pit stops, and it looks like Richings is still in that Ferrari sandwich in his Honda. Of course, he knows Serpentine will have to pit one more time. He doesn't have to overtake Serpentine, but he does need to defend from Falcon. And Falcon goes round the inside. That's not Falcon, that is someone else. That is John Bonner. My apologies, Bonner. Looks like he's lapping everyone just now. He's absolutely, it looks like he's flying, but he's actually just being assisted by the blue flags, but he's still lapping at incredible speed as well. So here is Adam Sharp, Formula Racing League's 2024 Driver of the Year. The winner of the SR28 award, of course. The console driver of the year. Now, he's always been in and around the podium. He's a very, very good driver. Constantly, at least anyway, since we gave him the awards, has found himself in a lot of incidents, a lot of which were not his fault or had anything to do with, to be honest. And that seems to have been the case today, as he's got the 144 car of Vermeulen almost pushing him along between the corners 3 and 4, as Vermeulen just goes round again. We will not see much of this evening. Sproston, what a race Matthew Sproston has had in his Ferrari. He started in the pit lane, didn't qualify, and he's managed to get himself up into P17 just now. Cars off track up ahead. That is a Team Europe car. Who is that? That is car number 7. That's Handley again. Handley bouncing over the grass and not having the easiest time off it indeed. These two still battling so hard. This is the battle for 3rd place. Luke Prentice fighting a very lonely fight just now for Team Europe up in the podium positions, and he is the last line of defence. He is having his Normandy just now. He is battling like I can't think of a metaphor that I can say on camera. He is absolutely doing everything he can. He's weaving like a grandma at a knitting convention. He is really building the Great Wall of Kent in an attempt to keep that podium position, as Prentice has decided, Williams has decided he has had enough, and he is going to jump into the pits in an attempt to go for the undercut. I wonder if that will trigger Luke and a lot of other drivers to go for the undercut as well. Serpentine's been in the wall. Serpentine's got damage. The front of that Ferrari has been done, so Richings and Falcon have got past. And what's going on here? Absolute carnage. Slow moving cars all over the circuit. Car number 79, that's Mr. Gedman. Who's he got behind him? That's a Ferrari. And a car number 10. I think we've seen much of that Ferrari on track actually. Who is that? Car number 7, that's Hanley. So Hanley now trying to unlap himself on Gedman in the straight line speed off that absolute monster truck that Chris is driving this evening. As he's ran a little bit wide and almost lost the rear. Hanley will have to get out of the throttle as Gedman just gets the car turned in. He did convince me to try and drive that car, did Chris, in one of the Formula Racing League's upcoming races at Indianapolis. I had one shot of it and I went, nope, that is enough for me. So fair play to Chris for sticking with it. I'm sure it does have its quirks, but I was 2 seconds a lap down on my personal best, so I will not be driving that car. So we've rejoined this battle just now. This is Morgan Grace on the rear of Jack Prentice. No love lost between these two, but now they're in the same stable, Europe versus the rest of the world. Will Prentice let him go? Or will they fight for position? It looks like Prentice has let him go, at least on this occasion. Prentice maybe playing the long game here. They know this is for the win for Team Europe. Now, it looks like Grace there weaving like a grandma at a knitting convention. Grace, of course, very familiar with sheep down in Wales. A lot of sheep there in the fields. We'll be used to seeing those in the wool and knitting, so that's of course where the reference comes from. There is absolutely no other connection to Morgan Grace and sheep at all. I'm sure you'll love me saying that one. You're welcome. As we watch Clayton go for a 4-wheel drift. Clayton now up into P3 as it looks like Prentice is pitted. Where is he? Luke Prentice is pitted and he's out in front of Williams, it looks like. He's out a lot in front of Williams. There's no way Luke is going to do this on one set of tyres. I fail to accept that. No way. No way is that one set. No. Just no. If it is, fair play, but no. Absolutely not. So here we go, we've got a 3-way battle for Team Europe. We've got Morgan Grace is the meat in the sandwich between Sharp and Prentice. It looks like Sharp has got some heavy damage. Sharp's yet to pit. Sharp has been driving there for 70 minutes now. He's driving that Ferrari until it runs out of fuel. That is his plan and he is sticking to it, I am absolutely certain. But Grace is flying and he's just got himself ahead as he moves up into P7. He's weaving, I mean, Grace is weaving, I'm not just saying that, he is jumping from side to side. Maybe his tyres are a little bit cold. Look at him, he's weaving side to side. But he needs to be careful the stewards don't bring that one up. Of course, they need to watch because Sharp has now joined the back of this battle. The other Sharp, the Sharp in red, has joined the back of this battle. And he's brought Hymans along for the ride. So here we go, we've got a dogfight. We're in Kent, the south of England. We've got two British drivers defending against what is technically another British driver and a South African. But still, the metaphor is there as one of them peels off into the pit, and that is Sharp has finally decided it is time to jump in to the pits and take a new set of, I'm sure, boots for the remainder of the race. We have lost one driver this evening from the standings. We're down to 29 in the server. Very disappointing indeed after having 40 signed up. I do understand some drivers did have some unavoidable things they couldn't be here this evening, and of course that is acceptable. But it's just disappointing to see when it's now an uneven number at the bottom, only 29 in the server, and that's the frustrating thing here. So, What have we got here? We've got, this is Prentice defending from Sharp. Up ahead is a lap car, so that's not a car for position. Car 713 is off track. That is Hyman's. Hyman's has disappeared entirely. That's Caruana. It's not Hyman's, it's a case of mistaken identity. And Spanish Steve, the Maltese magician, has unfortunately disappeared down the order in his first competitive outing in the Lamborghini. I'm sure he'll take a lot of learnings, of course, away from that. I am absolutely disgusted with myself for using the word learnings in an actual real life conversation. That is not acceptable. I do take that one back, but it is disappointing nonetheless for Caruana, who has fallen down the order from his starting position. So Travaglioli is a couple of corners behind Clayton, who's stuck in a sandwich between Trotman and Donkers here. Both of them a lap down. All the drivers who have completed their pit stops. We have Luke Prentice, who's currently 7 seconds behind Travaglioli, who is yet to stop. And he's got a 7-second buffer to Williams, and it's 27 minutes remaining. He's got, I think that is... I think that's Sproston behind him. Yes, it is. Sproston's completed his stops. He's now up into P19. It's been a good race actually from Sproston. This is actually a really good advert for the AM Class series in Formula Racing League actually. This entire season, to be honest. Gerbino was an AM Class, he won't be anymore, I assure you of that. I'm sure Donkers is Pro-Am, Colpitts was Pro-Am. Sproston is AM, Francis AM, Serpentine is Silver now, but was AM. Koumagalakis is Pro-Am, I'm pretty sure. Van der Waal Pro-Am or Pro, I'm not 100% sure on that one. Trotman is AM Class. Hanley was racing in AM Class and again will not be next season, that is a fact. But really, to show this level of talent for what is supposed to be the slower tier of drivers, it really has been an incredible performance from all of these guys, not just in this race, all season as well. So the metaphorical round of applause to those guys. Congratulations guys, you've done well tonight. As we see a Porsche go very interestingly around at Falcon, I think. No, it's not. Car 33, that's Sharp coming to lap these guys. So Richards and Falcon battling for position as Falcon thinks about a move down the inside into the second last, sorry. But nothing doing on this occasion as the Porsche at the back, Koumagalakis, gets out of the way of the leading car coming through. Up front then, Vermeulen leads Bonham still, who leads Clayton. Good race from Clayton considering this morning he was not able to see. Travaglioli is in P4 with Luke Prentice still hanging on to P5 as Richings just defends into turn 2 from the attacking BMW. Prentice is in P5 with Williams 6th, Grace 7th, Jack Prentice in 8th. Sharp in P9, Hyman's 10th, Gerbino, Sharp, the other Sharp in P12, Naisbitt in P13, who may move up a couple of positions once the pit stops are all out of the way. Donkers in 14th, Colpitts, Richings, who we're watching just now, Falcon, Visser, Sproston and Francis. Serpentine has recovered well to P20 after his mishaps this evening. Koumagalakis in 22nd, Caruana 23rd. Rogers, Gedman, Van der Waal, Trotman, Hanley and Campos are currently the drivers in the server. 23 minutes remain. Now the sun, it looks like, has just begun to duck down behind some of the taller objects on the circuit, creating some shadows. Track temperatures now dropped to 14 degrees. That's a 6-degree difference. That will explain why we've seen Grace weaving side to side, jumping up and down side to side like a roller coaster, in the words of Nando Loris. As once again, that Honda does not want to turn in. He's left the door wide open for a blue flag, which is completely the right thing to do in the rules and should not be insulted for that in any way, shape or form. So here's the one that's maybe for position. We've got Gedman and Caruana. His evening has gone from bad to worse. He's picked up a drive-through penalty for track limits, where I don't have any clue where that could have been picked up, but he has done so, and unfortunately he is now going to have to drive, as the name suggests, through the pit lane to clear that one before the end of the race. Slow moving car up ahead as Caruana just ducks around the BMW. Not quite sure who that one is. That's Falcon. Falcon's been off. So has Falcon and Richings had a coming together maybe? Has there been any damage to the back, off, or the side, even off the Honda? Can't really see from this angle. On board with them again. You see the shadows now. This is Jared Vermeulen. A bit of worn tyres now, but you can see the shadows on the track. As Caruana has cleared the drive-through penalty now. You see the shadows now on the track. It's getting darker out there. It looks like he just carries so much speed into that final corner. It really is a sight to behold. Some traffic now, it looks like, for the still lapping very quickly Dan Naisbitt in the Porsche. Not seen Dan in a Porsche in a long time. He said he felt confident in the Porsche around this circuit. And credit to the man, this is his second race today. His first race was in a go-kart earlier on today actually. He informs us that he's over the back of Gedman. Gedman kicking up the dust, making it very difficult. FRL admin civil war about to break out here. Nope, not this time, but then now we've got an admin ahead of a steward. That one is for position actually. So Gedman and Caruana are battling. This is still for position. I think he's let Caruana go. These guys seem to be glued to each other. That's Hanley again with Gedman and Van der Waal at the back. So still battling all the way down the grid for position. That big museum relic goes sideways and they've got a car off. Kuma Kalakis off track, and that's sent Caruana unstable as well. Luckily they've all got around without any contact, but oh my goodness me. And this is now Van der Waal on the back of, look at the size of that thing. It's huge. Gedman squeezes the inside line. Van der Waal backs out of it. Very skilled driving from Van der Waal there to avoid a collision, as that Hanley in the back has to get out of the way for a car coming through. Who is that at the back? That's a McLaren. Not quite sure who that is. Donkers potentially. As the white Ferrari even further back is also having a difficult time just now. This is Gedman and Van der Waal on board from the man from the Netherlands, and he's got onto the grass. Will he keep it out of the wall? He does, and we've been robbed of that incredible battle in the last couple of minutes. So Williams has got himself ahead of Clayton, or Clayton's had his last stop, not sure which one that is. The gap between Prentice and Williams is coming down. Here's a man we've not seen much of this evening. Gerbino is currently running a very solid P10. Still to pit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drivers still to make their final pit stops. They have just over 8 minutes to do so. If they don't, they will be disqualified. So that's in the final aspect of this race, as the track temperature now drops to 13 degrees. We're now 7 degrees lower than what we were, as Gerbino bravely turns in, as that Mercedes wasn't quite out of the way. It was this time. So what's going on here? We've got a slow moving car, number 5, Clayton, facing the wrong way. He's finally lost it. He is reversing. He's not hit anyone, thankfully. He's got a little bit of damage. He's now going to have to try and nurse that to the end of the race. He's got a couple of seconds on Jay Sharp. Is that going to be enough? And these two just cannot get enough off each other. Chris Gedman mowing the lawn on the exit of the second to last corner. And he's got Van der Waal tucked in behind him. Let's just see that actually. Look at that camera view. We've got the mirror of Van der Waal. Van der Waal in the mirror there. And Gedman, look how much lock he's had to get in that car. He's just understeered straight wide. And the tyres are gone. The front downforce is gone. His bumper's flapping up and down. And that has allowed Van der Waal finally to go past Gedman in the BMW. Vermeulen has taken his last pit stop. He's rejoining now. He's coming out behind some of his stablemates, and that could have been absolutely disastrous. The Mustang doesn't move out of the way to let him go. Francis does indeed let him pass, as does, look at that, great teamwork from the rest of the world team. Absolutely no question there. I'm the leader, let me through. And they do, they move out of the way. Williams, of course, got his own battle on his hands, trying to catch up with Luke Prentice, who I'm about 85% sure has not taken tyres in this race, which is an absolutely incredible feat. It really is, if that's the case, if that's what he's done. So we've got a couple of cars shown in the pits. Paul Trotman might be done for this evening. It's late on in the race, and he's parked up. If you're still with us, thank you very much for coming, sticking with us. If you've just joined us, this is the Captain's Cup 2 Electric Boogaloo, the second running of this race, the home of which is at FRL, Formula Racing League, sim racing at its very best. It's a Ryder Cup style format. We're a big team event. Every driver will score points for their team and will tally the points at the end. Provisionally, of course, pending any steward's investigations. There may be a couple, there won't be too many. Everything's been relatively clean from what I have seen. But we've got 14 minutes remaining of the race, 4 minutes off hardcore driving for some drivers before they make their final pit stops for this evening. Now Luke Prentice has been caught here by Matthew Sproston. Sproston's a lap or two down, but clearly lapping much faster than the struggling Luke Prentice. But Prentice is pretty much Europe's only foot on the podium just now. He's run a relatively mistake-free race. That's been kicked up ahead. Now that is either Stu Rogers or Jared or John Bonham. And I'm willing to bet it's probably the former, given the race that Stu has been having this evening. Has Stu done always pits this evening? I think he has. Yes, he has. So that's not him in the position as well. This is a very interesting situation we've got going on. We do have some pit stops to clear until we find out. 713 has been off circuit again. That's Steve Caruana at turn 3. That's where he got his drive-through penalty as well. So it's not been a night for him in his first competitive race in the Audi. Sorry, not the Audi, the Lamborghini. Sharp and Hyman's both in the pits, clearing the last pit stop now as well. This is probably the closest battle we have on track just now. It's Falcon in the heavily damaged BMW, pursuing the back of what must be the most difficult car to drive in the whole of Assetto Corsa Competizione on console. The monstrosity that is the Honda NSX. Honda, don't sue me. I say this with evidence. My own YouTube channel has a lot of evidence of that car not being easy to drive. This was for position as well. No, it's not. Donker's been chased by car 7. It's Handley trying to unlap himself, but Donker's, there's no need to get out of the way. Running very well in P11. Gedman, oh! What's happened here? Car 63's off track, that's Francis. And it enters the turn 2, sorry. The slow moving cars all around the track, and Caruana's off circuit. Going round the fast right hander. Does it allow Gedman back into the fight? Caruana is absolutely struggling tonight. That Lamborghini is not his friend at all. As Gedman gets on the grass as well. We missed that bit of spicy action. I'm sure we'll hear more about that one a little bit further back here. What have we got going on now? We've got Luke Prentice just now approaching these guys as well. Luke on the back of Gedman. Well, Gedman let him go. It looks like Gedman's taking the high line to let Luke past on the start finish straight. As Luke goes through into P3 ahead of Travaglioli. And that's put Europe with at least one hand on the podium. Caruana is all over the shot. What is going on in that Lambo? This is how the story of two Lamborghinis with completely different endings this evening. Is Caruana damaged maybe to the point his steering is damaged? Potentially. 14 seconds, 13, 12, 11, 10. Everyone has completed all mandatory pit stops apart from Rigo Campos, who is retired from the race this evening. That's it over. Hello in the YouTube chat there, thank you for joining us. It has been an excellent race so far. We're now in the twilight of the race and the twilight of the conditions here at Brands Hatch as well. The sun has truly came down. We're down to a 12-degree track temperature. It was 21 at race start. The temperature has plummeted. The sun has came down in the driver's eyes now. Another challenge for them all to deal with. But Luke Prentice has managed to get himself up into P3. But it's been an absolute masterclass from this man, Jared Vermeulen, who's still in P1 pretty much from the start of the race. Gedman and Rogers all over the place. Gedman off track there. Hello in chat, The Jog, David The Jog, thank you for joining us this evening. It has been a frantic situation pretty much all night. Serpentine is facing the wrong way and in the pits. No, he's not. Yes, he is. Oh no! Serpentine is gone from the server. That's disappointing to see. He was running so well. A close battle. This one's been going on for about 92 minutes, pretty much the entire race. We've got Falcon on the back of Richings for P15. Williams is now caught up to the back of Clayton. And that lovely looking Mustang. I honestly thought tonight I would be giving the livery of the race to a Team Europe car. But Williams has made it work this evening. The classic red and white stripes on the Ford Mustang with the tint of gold on either side. Striking livery, easily recognisable, and this is the Captain's Award for the livery of the race. Congratulations, Mr. Williams. Just up ahead again, these two still battling hard. The diva that is the Honda slowing Luke Richings down. The damage on the front of that BMW, which is slowing Falcon down. Both of them struggling to keep the car going in the right direction, keep it on the dark stuff, but they're managing to do so at least for the time being. The BMW is so much better on the brakes, so much more confidence driving that car. But the Honda has the raw pace, at least just now, to keep itself ahead. Will that be the case come the end of the race? Let's have a quick look at this positions again. Of course, each position only worth one more point than the one behind. Vermeulen and Bonham take the top spots just now. Luke Prentice, who I am again absolutely adamant, not 100% sure but pretty sure, has not taken tyres this entire race, which is absolutely incredible. The same set of tyres for 95 minutes. I think that's what's happened. We'll wait and see until the end. We'll get confirmation of that, hopefully. Oh, in the move now, and there's contact! Richings managed to keep it pointing in the right direction, fortunately for him. But we've lost track of who that is. Sorry, Richings has managed to keep the position. Not quite sure who that is behind in the BMW, but Falcon has allowed Richings to keep that place. But now that's Morgan Grace going through to lap. But will the back end of that Honda now be too much of a handful? Oh, it's spicing up real nice here for the final 5 minutes. This is the 5-minute warning. The final 5 minutes of the second running of the Captain's Cup. It looks like it's a pretty even split just now. We can give you, of course, the preliminary rankings, the preliminary result here. There will obviously be pending stewards' inquiries, but we can go through that at the end of the race for sure. Now Colpitts has joined the back of this battle after his earlier on stop and go penalty. He'll be pleased just to be involved in the battle up ahead, of course. You can really see the sun now getting in the driver's eyes. Some mistakes beginning to creep in now. It's just getting a little bit dicey out there. Some drivers we've not seen tonight. Let's give them some screen time before the end of the race. But before we do that, we've got a drive-through penalty in the dying embers of the race for Rooter Heymans, running in P12 just now. That's going to open up at least one place for Gerbino, maybe one for Sharp as well. 2 more points swinging in the other direction as Heymans has to go into the pits to serve that now. It's a slow moving McLaren. Moves off the racing line for Luke Prentice as Luke Prentice moves, I think, for that Ferrari coming through. That's the leader. That's the leader lapped up to P3. That is absolutely insane. Such has been the pace of John Bonham and Jared Vermeulen this evening. That is just incredible. I'm flabbergasted, to be honest. Hymans is... Did he send that drive through already? He's behind Gerbino. Yeah. He's behind Gerbino ahead of Adam Sharp. So that's that one sorted. Easy. So who else? Visser, we've not had much screen time on this evening. Visser running P18. Almost in a world of his own. Just getting around there, he's lapping very consistently. Francis as well, we've not seen much of this evening in this red Mustang. Stu Rogers ran his own race as well, went long into the race. It's not quite worked out for him, but it's a new car for him as well in the Aston Martin. And Chris Gedman in the very fat BMW, still being hounded by Caruana. Two heavily damaged cars at the back of the grid, still lapping out there. Need to be careful, because obviously all these points do indeed count. We're down to 27 drivers just now as well. We'll make sure we get a screenshot of the final standings. Bonham's had pretty much no action this evening as well, but there's action going on just now between these two, so I'm going to quickly jump back to it. We've got 2 minutes left. As Gedman runs wide, and that's going to maybe allow Caruana back through. Caruana takes the spot into the final corner. So Bonham's not had much action this evening, of course, running a race on his own. Not quite on the pace of Jared Vermeulen, but damn sure a long way ahead of anyone else around here tonight. Gerbino's been quiet as well, as he is under pressure, it looks like, from this car coming through. It's Hymans. Hymans has taken Gerbino on the last couple of laps. That was 4th position, and an incredible move. And Gerbino's unstable. They're side by side. There's no contact. It's absolutely incredible. They're side by side. They're dicing with each other. Nobody dares blink an eye. But it is Hymans who's going to take the place as we enter the final minute of the race, where Vermeulen's going to cross the line, and that's going to be the final lap of the race. Richards is still ahead of Falken. That battle is still going on. Richards must be sick of that BMW in his rear view mirror, and Falken must be sick of seeing that Honda struggle to be controlled. Dust being kicked up by a lot of drivers now as we enter the final 30 seconds of the Captain's Cup. What a Captain's Cup! It has been an exhilarating race. It's been so close, some amazing battles side by side, and still it's too close to immediately tell who is going to come away with the Captain's Cup. Is it going to be Europe who will win it for the 2nd straight cup, or will it be the rest of the world? Redemption for Kyalami last year. But it's been an incredibly dominant race up front as Luke Prentice still dicing. Falken is defending so hard from Colpitts. Colpitts takes the inside. It's the final lap of the race. They're side by side, both BMWs, and Colpitts down the inside. It's not over yet, but it is over for one man as Richards runs wide. It is a win for Jared Vermeulen, but Richards has lost 1 place to Colpitts. He's going to lose maybe another one. There is action going on, but we're going to have to stick with this two. And they're side by side. They make contact going round the long fast corner. That one might indeed be seen by the stewards later on this evening. Luke Prentice has secured 3rd place for Team Europe, and Bonham's crossed the line in 2nd. Travaglioli has taken 3rd. The BMW has clipped the grass. It's action. All corners off the final lap, and it is Luke Richards who takes P16. It's going to be Colpitts coming along the line. Sharp finishes in the pit lane. Absolute scenes in the final dying moments of the race, and I cannot look away for 2 seconds because those positions are finally being decided. It's been a frantic last couple of laps here at the Captain's Cup. There's a melee of cars at the end of the straight as Donkers crosses the line in P9. Dan Naisbitt's taking P8. Some drivers having to jump into the pit. That may be the leaders actually who've recommended a full lap more, which is incredible. As Sharp crosses the line now as well. And Visser is going to get his screen time he so truly deserves and takes the checkered flag and across the line. And that is the end of Captain's Cup 2. And I'm going to have to stop because my voice is nearly gone. So that is a list. Thank you, David. I do appreciate that. It's one of the hardest things to do as a commentator. Very tricky indeed. We've got a list there as everyone's now dancing around in the pits. Who have we got started dancing around on track? 133. I think that is going to be Visser taking us round for a lap of honour, as he's more than entitled to do. In fact, I encourage this. So now it's going to be a bit of time where I'm going to take a short break. I'm going to leave the screen up here just now to let drivers see where they have come, and I'm going to get the calculator out to give you a preliminary result. To confirm, Realmal and Campos will not score points as they are officially did not finish. That is a certainty. You need to have completed 75% of the race. Let's confirm that actually. Is that officially a DNF or not? 71 laps. Need to... 71. That's
Green light, go, go, go.
Please no one go. 71 times 0.75 is 53. So you need to have completed 53 laps of the race. So Handley will... 53 laps is the cut-off. Handley's done 54. So Handley will score points. Realmal and Campos will not. So now it's time to tally up the Europe scores, so just bear with us a little bit longer. We'll give you a preliminary result. So, the results, the preliminary results at least, are indeed in. Team Europe This is all pending any stewards' inquiries. Team Europe. 388 points. Rest of the world, including Vermeulen's point for the fastest lap. Team Europe, 388. Rest of the world, 300 and 40 points exactly. 340. It's Team Europe 388. Rest of the world 340. At least provisionally, Team Europe have won the second running of the Captain's Cup, and therefore will be selecting the third running of the Captain's Cup's location. If that result stands, and if those results are final. So as it stands, Team Europe are provisionally the winners of the Captain's Cup. If you've enjoyed this tonight, and I definitely have enjoyed the action tonight, let's talk about what's coming up for Formula Racing League. So coming up on the 16th of March, we have the 6 hours of Barcelona driver swap competition. That is available on SimGrid for sign-ups just now. And then the following week, we have on the 23rd of March, the start of the Formula Racing League regular season will be at Silverstone for Super Sprint Sunday. Again, you can sign up with that on SimGrid. Super Sprint Sunday has a qualifying session. We've got 3 classes on circuit, all at the same time. We've got 2 sprint races and 1 overall championship, but the big thing this season is our second sprint race grid will be the reverse finishing positions of race 1. That big reverse grid is the big talking point in Formula Racing League this season. You can sign up now, have a look at that. It's going to be so exciting, the most exciting series on console on Assetto Corsa Competizione. On the 25th, Tuesday the 25th of March, Taco Tuesday is back, and we've got back with some longer races to really test the drivers' management of their tyres this season. And then, brand new for this season, late night Thursday World Tour at the later 10:30 PM slot, the unique slot for people who need to race to get that high octane boost after all the loved ones have gone to bed. The Formula Racing League World Tour, a 24, yes that's right, 24 race calendar taking place at every circuit in Assetto Corsa Competizione. Sign-ups are available for that as well. It's a shorter race, only 45 minutes that race, so you will be in bed in time for work the following day. All those are available on thesimgrid.com. Follow Formula Racing League on there, sign up, join the Discord, get involved in the action. Tell a loved one, tell a friend, tell your family, tell someone you love, tell someone you like, tell someone you hate, I don't care, just tell everyone. If you've enjoyed tonight, there will be a Captain's Cup 3, I am absolutely sure of it. But do stay tuned for any future streams appearing on this channel. My name is Gogs, I am the captain. Thank you very much for watching this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring the action to you all. Until next time, good night and take care.